Very much so. It's primarily because I forgot what day it was. I'm gonna be honest. Ever since the pandemic, these days have been blending together because I have been doing nothing but be in this one room. So I kind of always, and considering that my job is normally just I wake up, do work, and then go to sleep whenever I feel like. Hell, I can just continue working if I feel like. Uh, Days just sort of. I actually honestly thought it was Friday, so I was treating it like an average work day, and I was working on stuff. And then I looked at the calendar and saw that it was Saturday. It's like, oh shit. So it's really just because I forgot what day it was. So I have to apologize for that. Yeah. And if that means that it's just basically gonna be just me and you and just like three other people in the future, that's fine. It's just it's my bad that I just completely forgot about this day. It was all me. So hold on. Hmm. Odd. Hold on. There we go. That's fine. Yes, I have played High Five Rush. When I first saw that it came out, uh, when I first saw the trailer, I like how a lot of people who I've seen reactions to basically had the exact same reaction of okay. In the beginning of the trailer, it seems pretty like okay, bog standard kind of like cookie cutter main character with a interesting looking style, and then suddenly when he jumps in the air and you see the entire vista of the area that he's in, and then you start seeing the combat in action, it's like oh wow okay, we actually have something here. So yeah, no. As soon as I heard that it was coming out in like a few hours from that Xbox event, I actually got an Xbox, the new Xbox. So I went there, got it, and I literally did not put it down until it was finished. So the entire 8 to 9 hour experience was basically digested the entire way through because I just could not put that game down. Zanzo has become my favorite character in most fiction now due to the fact that he's just a walking JoJo reference. And as a JoJo fan, I very much appreciate his existence. And yeah, it's just like the game itself is just it's shocking how good it is, and it's shocking how it was handled. You know, we didn't know a game even existed. We didn't even know it was ever in development. Then suddenly they just drop it on you, and it's a full length game for $30 or basically 15 if you got Game Pass, and it's fun. It's just a fun game. If I had to have one criticism, I think Chai is a little unsufferable sometimes, but that's about it. Hmm. Hey, Magical Fine. The music's great. When I got done with the game, I don't know if you know of a game called No Straight Roads (NSR). It's basically like that game in forms of the entire execution of it. But the difference I have to say is Hi-Fi Rush is basically just music, something that you can play in the background and just listen to for basically hours without getting sick of it because of it's just a beat. It's just a nice beat, good tones, not a lot of lyrics, if ever any lyrics. It's just supposed to like just get you into the game. And I think all the music, while having pretty much the same tempo, all have their own good tracks. But No Straight Roads, I believe, actually has the better overall, like, specific music aesthetic. How do I put this? Like, you can blend a lot of the same music together in Hi-Fi Rush because all of it is supposed to be generally feel good music. While No Straight Roads has a lot of like songs, actual personality driven beats to particular bosses and stuff like that. So I don't know what streamer mode is like because I played the game and since I didn't stream it, I actually get to hear the music. And I say some of the music does take a little inspiration from other music, like what you would get from Guitar Hero. I think I heard some Mississippi Queen in there with some cowbells, but that's about it. All around, solid 9 to 8 out of 10 experience. 10 out of 10 visuals though. The aesthetic is just fantastic. How they were able to blend 3D and 2D together so seamlessly, it's impressive. It's like someone said, Spider-Verse is amazing. Let's just make a game like that style, and they succeeded, showing that both 2D and 3D can still exist in the same time period. And I don't know what's up with Disney constantly doing this thing where 3D and live action are the way of the future. 2D is still very much a freaking great medium to go under. It's a shame that these people are doing better than what Disney could definitely do if they felt like it. And that's just it. The combat is as complicated as you want it to be. If you want a actual hard experience of keeping to the beat and rhythm with your combos and attacks, just play on normal, hard, or even the hardest difficulty setting, and then you'll hate your life because you'll realize that you have no rhythm. But the game gives you all the accessibility features to make it as easy as you want. There's a system in place where they gives you more timing window for the beat. There's the one button mode. There's the one button mode where all you have to do is just spam one button and Chai will just do combos and moves by himself. And so all you have to do is just keep mashing the button at the right time. And even then, it's like it's a very forgiving game. Like, let's say you get hit like 30 times, it's very likely that once you reach low health, if you just hit them a bit, and I'm pretty sure you can at least pull off 4 attacks, you'll get a bunch of health back. So the game is really forgiving. The game prides itself in not just its combat, but its exploration. So there's just as much exploration to just the environment and that there is the actual combat of the standard enemies and stuff. And the bosses are fantastic. Visually, aesthetically, overall, it's just like the game itself wants you to have fun, and you can have fun however you feel like. And if you just want to enjoy the game without having to deal with any of the unnecessary rhythm mechanics, watch it online. There you go. Watch someone else do it better than you. I just feel like this game deserves recognition because it just like how Puss in Boots 2 had no right to be as good as it was, this game had no right to be as good as it was for how it was just dropped out of nowhere. Like, games like this usually are, like, marketed to death, saying this is the new age of rhythm games and shit like that. No, it just literally just came out. It said what it was, and then it delivered. It's amazing. You know, but no, it's fine. Like the whole thing here is like, given that this game is development around 2017, wouldn't be surprised if they were inspired by Spider. Yeah, that too. Zanzo does a JoJo pose from part 1 through 5, which is like, okay, considering that part 6 was in development as well, I can see why they didn't want to incorporate a pose from there, even though they so could have. But definitely speaking, yeah, a lot of inspirational stuff a lot of shit can be looked at as inspiration for this game, all of which were executed perfectly. Again, the only problem I have is that Chai is a little insufferable. That's it. That's good. No, not gonna lie. I thought it was going to be a game set in Sunset Overdrive, a sequel, and or people inspired by Sunset Overdrive. I shit you not. That's the first thing that came in my head. I'm like, this is just Sunset Overdrive again, but but actually different in its own identity. Like this is what Sunset Overdrive could have been in other aspects. Sunset Overdrive is also a really good game. Don't get me wrong on that. I just like how this stands on its own 2 feet as its own game. It's great. I like how both No Straight Roads and High Five Rush are now bringing in the new genre of rhythm-based fighting games, or action-adventure rhythm-based adventure games, or some shit like that. However you want to call it. Because they're really good. Like, No Straight Roads, I can say the combat between the bosses isn't all that great. It's very forgettable, and a lot of the overall environments and the implementation of the rhythm combat is not as well done as High Five Rush. But I do believe that both No Straight Roads and High Five Rush has equally good bosses. Like, they both have really good bosses that show the personality of the people you're fighting flawlessly in many aspects. I honestly can't pick which one I believe have better bosses because they're both extremely memorable. Like, DJ Subatomic Supernova is like the benchmark of how to do a first boss in any video game. Yeah. DJ Subatomic. It's like, it just... like, come on. Bullets per minute. I think I've heard of that game. I need to remind myself exactly what it looks like. I think I know what you're talking about. Give me a second. Oh, no. I actually had not heard of this game. Hold on. I thought you were talking about that one other game that looks like a bunch of... Huh. Yeah, so I'm guessing this is a rhythm... Is this like another type of game, or just a rhythm-based shooter like that other Metal Fighter thing? Yeah, rhythm shooter. Yeah, so there's rhythm shooters and there's rhythm action games. We are living in a new age of like how music and rhythm-based games in general are just now getting a resurgence. Mostly thanks to Friday Night Funkin', getting like a lot of people's creative rhythm juices flowing. As weird as that sounds, I do like this very much because I love music, And anything that gets the same feeling that you're just listening to music and you just have that epic fight in your head and you sync it up with the music because, you know, you just like that kind of thing. Or AMVs on YouTube of the old days of Naruto fighting Sasuke and stuff like that. That's stuff like stuff like that that makes games like that interesting to me because I like syncing action to music. A lot of people like doing that actually because it just fits so well. The theme for this live stream can just be whatever the heck we can think to talk about for like an hour and a half before I gotta go again. I'm still apologizing for the fact I missed this live stream for 12 o'clock, mostly because I just forgot what day it was. To be perfectly honest, these days are just blending together. Thanks to me just living at home. If it wasn't for the fact that my roommate said he would be gone for this weekend, I actually probably would not have realized that it's Saturday. I think my first read the game was Cryptid. Yeah, Cryptid Necrodancer was also one of my first read the games. Parappa will be proud. Yeah, that is true. Parappa did kind of jumpstart that sort of stuff, right? Like Parappa the Rappa, Jet Set Radio, and a bunch of different other like old games that had like stylistic approaches to their execution. Really paved the way for a lot of the games that we're able to experience now. Yeah, he's going fishing with his pops, I think. Yeah, they also go by so quickly. Have you noticed that we're at the end of the first month of the new year? Like that shit always gets to me, and like especially last year where it was just March for some reason. And I'm like, we're already on the third month of new year in 2022. Huh. Yeah, shit. Like that shit's been happening to me a lot. That's just it. If you want to still do D&D, Corona, it's perfectly fine. I'm willing to still DM without Goat. It's okay. It's not like Goat is necessary for whatever you need to do, whatever Dark needs to do, or whatever you want to do about going to get someone else. That sort of thing. Shoes. Basically, yeah. There's going to be a game that's basically just holiday. That's good. Yeah. That's just it. Do you want that important junk to have Farad or no? That's just it. Or is it Gapar? Man, his names are just kind of blending in with me. And that's just it. Y'all won't like my data battle tier list. Let's see. No. No, you won't. because here's the thing. It's not it's not anything like here's the thing. Am I judging these based on how much I enjoyed it, or how easy it was, or how hard it was? What's the criteria here? Like, are we going from easiest to hardest, level of enjoyment, or what's up? Because those are drastically different lists. How much I enjoyed it. Okay. How enjoyable it was. Alright, well, I didn't enjoy him very much. He was a bitch. He was average. This was kind of fun. I just loved beating the shit out of her. His was interesting. Better than 2, in my personal opinion. Mid. Liked the gimmick. Wish maybe wish the triangle command. Maybe wish the triangle commands came back from 2, because that laser grid shit is kind of annoying when dealing with it the first time. What the final boss should have been like. Pretty mid, and pretty fun. If I'm just going strictly off how much I enjoyed it. From what I remember. And for personal reasons and other shit like that. Other than that, yeah. And I know he isn't on this list because he technically isn't a data battle. But Yuzora goes in S. Because holy shit, when you think he doesn't have anything left, he just pulls out something else. Like, it's like, I think it's primarily because I'm pretty sure Vanitas would have been more enjoyable to me if it wasn't so good at the game. Because I kind of just beat him before he could ever to do really anything interesting. And plus, Vanitas' fights can be boiled down to, it's the exact same kind of fight that he usually has in Birth by Sleep. Except faster. For a specific Kingdom Hearts game. This is all Kingdom Hearts 3. Specifically the data battles in the Remind DLC. Old data battles. Okay, if we're going off the old data battles, if I remember correctly, I like this one because it actually was an actual fight. Because in Kingdom Hearts Rechain of Memories, I once said, man, I wish I could fight these guys without the limitations of the stupid card system. Because when I say stupid card system, I don't mean, man, the card system is so hard. I mean, damn, I made my deck so freaking broken, these fights are trivial. Kind of complaint. Very enjoyable. Annoying but enjoyable. I never really liked his gimmick all that much because I'm very impatient. But it's fine for what it is. Really like kicking her ass. Always have to give a shout out to my boy. Zaldin was a piece of shit. Book Boy was just annoying. You were also kind of just annoying. I'm gonna just put you right there because you were because I at least like your gimmick. Moonshine Down. Best Boy. Dance Water Fuck You. And my dad. Okay. And levels of enjoyment. There you go. I just wish these things were cropped a little bit better. And consistent. See, this is what I mean when it comes to like tier lists revolving around my personal taste. It's very easy to do, and not very hard to just try to say, yeah, this is just kind of how it be sometimes. Now, if we're going off my favorite games from the Dark Seeker saga. Yeah, pretty much. this website pretty much has any tier list under the sun. If anyone was interested in making it at the time, and you just do tier lists. True that this was fun. 1.5. That's just it. Like, what do we mean by 1.5? We're talking about the entire package of what 1.5 gave to us as a thing, or as like final mix. I don't get this one. Hold on, I'm gonna keep that at the bottom. Kingdom Hearts 1 is goated. No, that's Kingdom Hearts 2. Kingdom Hearts 2 is goated. Kingdom Hearts 1. I don't care what people say. People like 1 better than 2, but I say 2 maybe had a lot. I replayed 2 way more than I replayed 1. 3 is on the same scale as 1, where it's good, but I don't replay it as much as 2, despite the fact that it could be S if Remind was part of the base game. I could say. Recoded is... I don't care. The Union games are D because I don't like just the fact that this is the most important lore-heavy shit that you need the entire game to be, and you put it on a mobile device with a cheapy art style. I just can't take anything seriously. Granted, this is Kingdom Hearts, so why am I taking anything seriously? But I do my best when it comes to stories, alright? This was a fine experience. Days is underrated and it's really good. Birth by Sleep is in that same camp. Rechain of Memories is C because it is the one Kingdom Hearts game that I rarely go back to. Not to say that it's a bad game, it's just I rarely go back to it. Yeah, it is very boring. And having to read everything is also very annoying, alright? Look, I'm a reader when it comes to like subtitles and shit, but when your entire game is just reading, I just need a summary video, thank you. And that's why Nico B exists. I can't see this one very well. Hold on. Oh, Melody of Memory. It's a D. It's a rhythm game. Nothing inherently wrong with it. I'm just, it's a rhythm game that does nothing for the lore other than saying Kairi is trying to do a thing and doesn't. Actually, Chain of Memories is a high C, while Rechain of Memories is a this could be interchangeable, because on one hand I like the 3D system that is implemented in Rechain of Memories, and the fact that you can experience the story like how you would Kingdom Hearts 1 with the actual cutscenes and stuff like that. But Chain of Memories actually was built on the fact that it was on a handheld, and it does kind of play better due to that. So these can go interchangeably as top of C and bottom of C. Yeah, okay. And that's it. The remixes are just the same games, except all in the same package, and I think this is just another cropped out version of Kingdom Hearts 1. So there you go. That's my personal tier list of Kingdom Hearts games. Yeah. Like Chain of Memories is GBA. PS2 is Rechain of Memories, and that's just like, okay. Game was poorly done. Nico literally dry half the fights. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's just it. Like, in the beginning, it's rather annoying, especially if you don't know exactly how to really use the cards properly. Like the fact that 0 cards are the strongest and weakest things in the game itself. The card system of how they implement like the shot lock, quote unquote, stuff. It's like in early game, it's rather annoying. And late game, if you know what you're doing, everything just kind of is just destroyed on screen because you know the most powerful combinations of cards and stuff like that. And it was one game that I played on the hardest difficulty, and I beat the first boss without dying. Not first boss, the last boss without dying. Luxord, I beat him first try, even though he's supposed to be the final boss. I had more trouble with Axel than I had with him. I'm like, that's not how that's supposed to work. Anything for Kingdom Hearts 4? Kingdom Hearts 4, I'm just excited for. I think they announced it too early, like how I think they announced Kingdom Hearts 3 too early. Because I'm pretty sure we're not getting Kingdom Hearts 4 for like another 4 years, if not 5 at the worst. I hope I'm wrong, but when it comes to Kingdom Hearts game, they take a long ass time to make. From what people think that we're going to Endor, we're going like Star Wars and stuff like that. I mean, like at this current point, we can go anywhere. And I'm just excited to just get another Kingdom Hearts game because this is one of my favorite series to play, period. So I just want Kingdom Hearts 4 to be good. To be the first, a good first step to the new saga that we're getting into. That's it. Secret bosses tier list. Hold on. The not Sora tier list. Ah. That's funny. Alright. Oh. Kingdom. Okay, well, if you need, like, let's see what that game. Let's hope they'll make sure Kingdom Hearts 4 doesn't have glitches like the last Pokemon game. I'm pretty sure, like, that's the one thing about Kingdom Hearts games that I rarely ever, if ever, run into is the fact that none of them have, like, clear, obvious glitches unless you're specifically trying to do them. So they're relatively polished games. They can be jank on certain occasions, but that's jank, not glitch. Yeah, the Frozen World did feel a lot lacking. Yeah, that's just it. But this is actually a pretty good list of the worlds I believe Kingdom Hearts 4 will actually have. Like, Aladdin, I don't think we're going to another Aladdin world. I don't think we're going to get King of Thieves. I think, if anything, Aladdin might be a summon. Maybe as a summon. I didn't even know they had that there until I saw it. I'm going to be judging this list on both how I believe it's going to be and how much I actually want it. Atlantis, I really think they'll actually pull off Atlantis due to the new graphic style. Coco just seems like it will be pretty much guaranteed at this point. A Bug's Life will probably have like a small chance. No pun intended to the fact they're bugs. Bolt, I think, had no chance of getting in. Brave might be a summon. Card's also probably a summon. Because I can see a summon Lightning McQueen for like specific stuff like that. I could just see that. I don't think they'll put Sora in cars and make him a car, because that's what they have to do. And that would just be jarring, to say the least. I would love this, but I don't think it has a chance. Encanto, I don't know, man. I'm not gonna get in my Encanto rants into this stream. Y'all need to know about that. But I do believe Encanto's gonna get in there somehow. Yeah, I would love an Emperor's New Groove one as well, because I think it'll be great. I just don't feel... Because after looking at the first trailer of Kingdom Hearts 4, they're really going for a more realistic approach. So the more realistic the thing I can see them doing... Not to saying that there's no chance we're getting something like more cartoony in the long run. But I want this, but I don't think... Yeah, I'm going to put it in a small chance. Who knows? Frozen 2, yeah, probably. Knowing what Disney probably wants out of the company, we're probably going to get the second movie. Definitely no chance with this on Home and Range. Incredibles would be amazing. Very likely. I'm not going to go guaranteed because it's kind of like up in the air, but definitely up there. Inside Out would be somewhat likely. I don't think we're going to a Jungle Book thing. They had Jungle Book. I remember I think it was Birthright Sleep. They had like a Jungle Book world in development, and you can kind of still see them in the game files. So it's not like they don't want to do a Jungle Book. I think a Jungle Book world would be for a spin-off game. Like Dream Drop Distance was and stuff like that. I can see that more than I can see it being Kingdom Hearts 4. This one, small chance. Not really, no. Maybe it's... not a chance, actually. Meet the Robinsons, not a chance. Moana, very likely. This would be interesting. Because if there's, like, time travel shenanigans. Monster University is weird because we've already got Monsters, Inc., the first movie. Technically, we had the sequel because it was Monsters, Inc. after the events of Monsters, Inc. 1. So, weirdly enough. And it'll be something to have it so that it go back in time, apparently. I don't know. Not sure about this one. I haven't never seen this movie. Never seen this movie. So I have no clue what are the chances of it actually being a thing. So, summon at best. Pocahontas, no. Revan the Last Dragon. I've never seen this movie either. I've never seen this movie either, but I think it's very likely due to fantasy settings and stuff like that. Bold idea, a goofy movie. Yeah, that would be interesting because the whole thing about like Donald and Goofy, it would be interesting to get a world dedicated to them, kind of like what, but not in the same vein that the Three Musketeers did, where Sora went to the Three Musketeers movie universe, but then that Mickey, Donald, and Goofy were specifically that universe version, which is also supposed to be a sleeping world, so it technically was just part of their history that they did once. It's complicated. I'm not even gonna get into it. Soul, I don't believe would get it, primarily because the only worlds you got is the spirit world and the human world, and I'm like, there's really no other real thing beyond that. I can see it like a more of a collectible based thing where you collect lost souls that need to go back into heaven or the afterlife, whatever you want to call it in that movie. Like what you do with Coco in the Sonic game. A chance for this one. Toy Story 3. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Toy Story 1, the first Toy Story world was kind of complicated because it was technically not a retelling of the movie, but a new dynamic with the characters. I can see us going back there. Treasure Planet. I'm putting that there purely because I want it. I don't think we're getting this. Up. Summon maybe. Wally. I would love this. Wreck-It Ralph. I don't know why we haven't had it yet. Wreck-It Ralph. You know what? Actually, Wreck-It Ralph is probably almost guaranteed to very likely because one of the things that Kingdom Hearts tends to do, especially when it comes to Kingdom Hearts 1 to Kingdom Hearts 2, is that your summons, you can get their world later. Like with Mushu and Simba in the first game, you were able to go to their worlds in the second game. So who knows? It might be a nice little prelude to the fact that he's a summon in Kingdom Hearts 3, and we can go to his world in Kingdom Hearts 4. They can definitely pull it off. I guess I can pretty much put that to pretty much guaranteed. No. Sadly, no. I like this movie. I can see this somewhat likely. Prince of the Frog, very likely. And then another Pirates movie. Now, okay. I, for one, would love to go back to Pirates. Despite the fact that they kind of ruined the world system. How we went to the first movie in Kingdom Hearts 2, and we skipped the second movie, which is one of my favorite movies of the Pirates, the original Pirates trilogy, and got straight into the third movie, thus having everything be kind of disjointed and janky for those who haven't actually watched the movies at all. And I think it'll be kind of interesting to go to the fourth and maybe even the fifth movie with Sora, Donald, and Goofy. But the problem is the whole Johnny Depp situation with Disney is very complicated. So I don't think it's mostly on an outside factor of how I believe. Outside factor of how I believe it will be implemented. So I don't think at this current point in time, until we got confirmation that Disney and Johnny are on better terms, that we're getting into our Pirates world, sadly. And that's about it. I would be A-okay with all these up tier, maybe aside from Frozen 2, because I think Frozen is a little overhyped. Not to say they're bad movies, I'm just thinking that there's overhyped for the people who like it. And that's about it. And Treasure Planet could take the pirate spot, yeah. Maybe we can fix Wreck-It Ralph 2. I don't think anything can fix Wreck-It Ralph 2. The whole thing about Wreck-It Ralph 2 is that Ralph is just such a different character. A lot of the character motivations have just been shot down to hell. And the only thing that movie has going for it is the visual aspect. It's just, it's, yeah, man, I'm not, I can't get into that. I'm only gonna go through the secret slash super bosses of this list. Yeah, and the reason why we didn't get a Bambi world because what the do you do in Bambi? Like sometimes a summoning is just a summon though. I will admit that. I'm not saying it's like a wow, okay, so we got a summon and then we got their world. It's just more like it is it possible though? What the heck can we do in Bambi? I'm not seeing Zemnis in the Kingdom Hearts 1 area. So they don't have the secret bosses here. And yeah, they pretty much put everything in here. Oh no, they're there. I think. That's a big list. Okay. Chicken Little could work. It's just the fact that Chicken Little doesn't seem to have the star power to do it. I think Chicken Little will be probably relegated to a side game, that kind of thing. I don't think like when you get main Kingdom Hearts world, main Kingdom Hearts game, you gotta think about what brings the most amount of money, what brought the most amount of money, the most memorable kind of stuff. That's why they saved like, sadly, they saved uh, Hunchback of Notre Dame and Three Musketeers. Hunchback of Notre Dame is a good movie, but no one ever really brings up the movie itself other than the actual villain and his villain song. Whenever the movie's been brought up during my experience, so I can see why they only get relegated it to a side game. Yeah, like I can see because Ratatouille is a great movie. But they didn't give us a Ratatouille world. They just gave us Remy as a character to make buffs and cook with. So stuff like that, it's not impossible for them to implement characters from other movies into a thing without actually necessarily have to go to their world, even if it is just being relegated to a summon. And Chicken Little seems to be in that camp, to be honest. So what other tier lists do you think I can go through? People have been saying Treasure Planet for years, but that's just it. Treasure Planet is kind of complicated, to be perfectly honest. I honestly can't see a Treasure Planet world in Kingdom Hearts 2, maybe Kingdom Hearts 3, but Kingdom Hearts 4 can definitely pull it off. Fire Emblem? That's just it. Only played like 3 Fire Emblem games. If we're talking like Fire Emblem characters, that's a long ass list, and I don't remember all of them. Favorite anime? That's just it. That's very broad, and I don't think there's a tier list with all the animes that I particularly. One Punch Man characters? I think I can do that. Now, what am I judging this tier list on, though, when it comes to One Punch Man characters? It's like that. That's just it. Like, I've only known Fire Emblem up to Awakening. Awakening up to Engage. Anything below that, I know nothing about it. I know Marth, Ike, and Roy from Smash, and that's it. Yeah, I found a very big tier list of One Punch Man characters. But like, once again, what am I judging these guys based off of? According to this list, it's just danger scale, which makes no sense as a tier list, primarily because 80% of these people, if not 90% of these people, already have a danger scaling. So I'm gonna try like probably change that. And how much I like the character. Okay. I'm gonna delete these. I'm gonna delete a few and just kind of do a regular kind of listing. I don't remember you. You kind of suck. You kind of suck. Don't remember you. I like your character in the webcomic, so hopefully you get the same kind of treatment in Murata. Hey, fiction. You were just kind of there. You were funny for where you lasted. Thomas Samurai is the goat. Oh wait. Oh, this is when he has the sword, and this is when he doesn't have the sword. All right. Cockroach dude. You suck. You still suck. I like your design and nothing more. Even a redesign. I'm gonna be right back, actually. I'm hearing something at the door. I'll be back. In the meantime, you guys talk amongst yourselves about this tier list. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. You're just there. You're just there. I liked your fight. You're there. You're also just there. Okay. Okay. Currently, Black S is S tier. And I will fight any of you for this. Blast is S. Mid. Bomb is great. Mid. Boros is S. Just Boros. Do. Beetleman. That's one of his disciples. Good. Just there. Just go to there. Carnage Kabuto was a good fight. Just general. Frog Boy. This guy. I just found him to be funny. Child Emperor. This is pretty much both of Child Emperor. That guy. Goat. Okay. There. You just look cool. There. Actual Satan. This guy. Deep Sea King was great. That guy. Giant ass fan. It was just a fan. The Fubuki group is so incompetent. They can't even take on a fan. Jesus Christ. Will all the characters fit on the tier list? Well, it's impossible for a tier list to have a limitation. It's just a matter of how much my sanity is going to take trying to put all of them in their respective spots. Metal Knight. Don't know much about him. That's the only problem with Metal Knight. Not Metal Knight. Meta Knight? What is this guy's name? Is it Metal Knight? No, Metal Knight's the other guy. Drive Knight. Another actual Satan. Evil natural water. Goated. Even though this is an evil natural ocean. Woman. Because so many people were on this tier list, I would take a lot of time to figure out. On there. When it comes to this, it's like I recognize them through Jump, and I remember what they did in the thing and how much I didn't care. In forms of, yep, that's a bad guy. They're either gonna die immediately. You're creepy as fuck. Sus. Flashy Flash. I think he's a good character, not better than these guys. Fubuki. Damage Fubuki and regular Fubuki. Any complaints? That's what I thought. Fura Ugly. More knights from the specifically from the organization. It's the other guy. Yeah, there you are. There's a lot of interesting character designs. Yeah, no, that's the one thing about One Punch Man that got me interested in it. Like all of these guys were once drawn by one himself. And with his art style, it kind of like I see where he's coming from, but if only there was more realistic style to depict it. And then you have Yusuke Murata just doing that exact thing. You ever had those situations where you had a child draw like something, and then you have just expert artists interpret that design and make it into something badass and is exactly what the kid envisions in his mind, but just didn't have the artistic ability to actually pull it off. That's essentially what Murata is doing with one. And even though I do love one style in of itself, especially the proof of that is Mob Psycho 100, where essentially it's just all one style. Murata's a more realistic take on a matter is another great juxtaposition. It's great. Yes. I like how they pretty much put every single form of Garo under the sun, and it sucks that I now need to scroll because they're all going S. So I'm just gonna put them all here first just to help with that. How to draw a face being caved in by a fist, essentially. There we go. There. I liked your little arc. Actually, can't. It's Genos. That's Genos' new power. Genos is a steer. It's like Genos is basically the personification of Vegeta, except not Vegeta. You know what I mean? Where he's not Vegeta personality, but his main crux of existence is to be the hype man for when Saitama or a stronger villain shows up. He never wins because he's against the big bad because he's supposed to pave way for the actual main characters to do it, which is essentially what Vegeta is for, sadly. I say now is the perfect time than any because we're getting into like really good levels of hype in the One Punch Man manga right now. Geno was Vegeta if Vegeta didn't choose violence in the morning, basically. Homeless Emperor. I love being able to instantly recognize Mercer's voice. It's always something to recognize any famous voice actor's main voice role, even if they're doing their best to be a different voice. King. King. Fucking king. Hey, RTG. I am just speed tier listing every single One Punch Man character that apparently has ever existed, thanks to the length of this list, about how much I like their inclusion or just find them interesting. Like Metal Bat, for instance. Yeah, but this is coming from a list that was supposed to be judging them based on power, so there's multiple versions of the character of how strong you think they are at the time. So I'm just going along with it. Ah, Moomin Rider, here you are, my precious boy. Almost done. Fuck's sake. Am I regretting doing this? Orochi. Basically a giant beat stick. Overgrown Rover is a good boy. Very obedient. Specifically this Phoenix Man. Basically not fat dumb. Platinum sperm. Oh, all right. Holy shit. Okay. True form Psychos. Psychos in general. One Punch Man has become quite literally one of my favorite manga slash animes to keep up with. Hopefully season 3 is going to be better than season 2. But I believe in Studio Mappa because they handle Jujutsu Kaisen pretty well. There he is. I've really fallen from the anime, but it'd be something really interesting to catch me. It's great. Chainsaw Man was great. Chainsaw Man was another sleeper hit for me because I did not know about it whatsoever. Until eventually, oh man, okay, yeah, sure, I'll give it a shot. Did not put it down. Read it all the way through, waiting for the next chapter. That shit's getting crazy. Or is it? Is it based on? Relatively. Primarily because that's just how it just kind of is. There's like Gurren Lagann that was just itself. It wasn't based on a manga, so it's not like it's impossible. There are various ones. It's more likely that the anime you're gonna get is based out of a manga, visual novel, or a light novel, because that's just how it works. Anime as a media just seems to be like take this not animated medium and put it into an animated medium. Yeah, basically. There's Bang. Speedo sound, Sonic. Almost fucking done. Or almost fucking done. Yeah. Small face guy. What's that, dude? Stinger. I like your personality at the very least. This guy. I think his name's Suyu or some shit. Mr. One trying to be one kick man over there. Nah, it's fine. Seeing where my allegiances lie with these things and trying to keep consistency of how I judge things on the fly is actually something else. It just goes to show just how many fucking characters there are and how many characters I actually recognize and remember doing something throughout the course of all of One Punch Man, so it's just pretty impressive. Fucking hated these two. And there she is. Fucking legal lolly herself. Now, the thing with Tatsumaki is very contentious, I understand. However... bite me. It's not Piccolo. Nice. Fucking hate this kid. Watchdog Man is actually the second god of the verse, and people just don't know it yet. This guy, that guy, this other guy, this person, the sister of Middlebat, and finally, this fucking zombie man. Alright. And there you go. Yeah, see, people don't like Tatsumaki because they find her to be a spoiled brat who is impulsive and a bunch of different, like, other things. Well, in actuality, she's just a very deep-seated, hurt individual who has been experimented on, tortured, basically, over the fact that she was a psychic. and is just a very overprotective and a understandable loner, and they just don't like that. I for one like her. I for one like the fact that she's actually a multi-layered character under all that sass. And boy howdy, in One Punch Man right now, we're gonna get the single greatest like turn of her character, thanks to what's happening right now. So I like Tatsumaki, especially what they did with her during the Monster Association arc with her and Genos, where no one thought or needed Genos and Tatsumaki shipping, but Jesus Christ, did they do it a lot. And there you go. So all around, I think the main cast at the very least of One Punch Man is very solid, like extremely good. Not just showing that this series isn't just overpowered the anime, where it's like, oh man, look at all this powerful shit. Is there anything to actually hold on to? Yes, a lot actually. A lot of ideals, a lot of differences in opinions, a lot of overall like understanding of people's characters and what they stand for and what they live for. Very good, very good. And then there's just a lot of like even if these characters meant nothing in the long run and why they're down here, they still have a distinct design to them and a distinct clear personality. Like you can just look at this character and understand what he's probably all about if you get into the actual series itself without knowing jack shit else about it. And that's what makes this this manga so interesting and amazing. It's just, man, it's something else. Good job, One and Murata. Y'all collaborative efforts on this thing further shows just how good this series actually is. Yeah. And hopefully there's more to come with this series. Like, until we actually finally fight God, I want this to go on as long as it possibly can. I love it. Oh, yes. A string of great adult animations over the years. Hello Boss has been my obsession. I loved it. Been Arcane. And everything has to be the Family Guy. Yeah, basically. It shows that adult animation doesn't have to be crude humor and lol random nonsense and meta commentary and shit like that. It could just be, a real situation with people with personalities and dynamics that's just not afraid to show that death is a thing and stuff like that. So, yeah. I have not read the latest chapter of One Piece. I'm kind of doing stuff busy right now. I do know shit's getting kind of like on the up and up when it comes to One Piece right now. I'm gonna probably jump into it later. I'm not gonna jump into it now because YouTube and Twitch have these things where apparently manga pages are copyright. So I don't want anything to happen to this stream. So I'll definitely get into it. Oh, jeez, okay. And as like a side thing, not to get into a weird space with this, but when it comes to like Rick and Morty, I love Rick and Morty as a show. I think Rick and Morty as a show is really good, if not kind of grating on sometimes. And the things that's happening with Justin Roiland right now is something else to say the least. But I seen a video, and I could not help but just agree with it on a fundamental standpoint that Justin Roiland is not Rick and Morty, and it's very, very possible that Rick and Morty can still be the exact same show that it is without him, especially after you look up at the fact that Justin Roiland has barely been around for a lot of what the series has been had to offer, and he was just a voice. So I'm excited for that, at the very least. So when it comes to adult animations like Rick and Morty, I think that's not going anywhere anytime soon, because as a collaborative effort, there could be other people. As for my background, yes, this is something that one of my friends on Discord were able to commission for me, and it's just an image of Judo Wiz 2 kids of Alice and Hirota. Yeah, essentially. He created the idea, he's the main voice actor, and he used to be the main writer. He used to be the collaborative effort with another person. But at this current point in time, it's basically something else now. It's something that can exist without him. And will it be kind of weird that the main voice actor for like 87% of the cast is now going to be not a part of it? Yeah. Can we get somebody to replace those voices where it's almost near identical? Very much likely. Now I'm just interested in what the story's going to be like, because the whole deal is that the story's been up and down, left and right, due to certain decisions made. Who knows? Maybe this might be a good proper new direction for the series. I have never been more excited for the next season of Rick and Morty because I'm interested in what they're going to do with this newfound creative freedom, I guess. It's kind of a way to put it. Who knows? Or maybe it might crash and burn. I don't know. I just don't think it's immediately dead in the water. And I was not expecting them to cancel Rick and Morty because of this, because I'm like, Jesus Christ, Rick and Morty is one of the most successful business practices that they've ever were able to achieve. There's no way they're just going to get rid of it. Yeah. Only time will tell. So I can't wait for season 7. I think season 7 is going to be the most interesting season. It's going to make or break the rest of the franchise on how they're going to handle the fact that Justin Roiland is no longer going to be a thing. Which, you know, right now it's one person on Discord was like, "What happens if he's found innocent in the court of law?" The whole thing is, my problem with Justin Roiland right now isn't for the fact that there's allegations of him being an abuser. All right, if it's true, fuck him, obviously. And if it turns out to not be true, or things are overglorified and he's found innocent in the eyes of court, that's fine. My problem with Justin Roiland was the texts that were found about him saying very, very crude shit to minors. That's where I can't have him. That's where I'm at right now. So one side is up in the air right now because the court is still going with, but the other stuff is clear cut. All right, so I'm not okay with that. They made a Scooby-Doo cartoon without the dog, and that's why they called it Velma, and it's not great. Keep Scooby out of Velma because talking dog would make people think it's a kid show. That's just it, though. Remember Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island? Remember how kid-friendly that movie was? If you don't understand my sarcasm, the problem with Velma wasn't the fact that they thought it would be too adult. The reason why they didn't want Scooby to be in it, because they don't want Scooby to be tainted by this bullshit. And it's also true. He probably did worse. But that's just it. Like, I don't believe for a second that the people who are in charge of Scooby-Doo said, you can't have Scooby in this because it will make it seem like a kid show. Because they made several stuff with Scooby in it that definitely were not for kids. Multiple times. So that's clearly not the case. They clearly did not want Scooby to be tainted by the show. Because they knew how bad it was going to be. I'm more to believe with that line of thinking than simply saying, okay, so you made Scooby-Doo and the Zombie Island, the crossover with Supernatural, and a bunch of different other stuff that had actual stakes and actual loss of life and stuff like that. But apparently this show is pushing it? Or is it because it's bad? I'm going with that. Horrendous side of Scooby. Yeah, just imagine, like, you've already seen what they did to the characters in this show. Do y'all really wanted that for Scooby as well? I'm so happy Scooby's not a part of it. I am the happiest person that can ever be happy that they didn't taint the actual titular character of Scooby-Doo in this Scooby-Doo show. What Scooby-Doo seems to be boiled down to is an anagram for something. It was revealed in one of the episodes. I've been not hate watching the series. I've only been seeing other people's reviews of the people that I follow on YouTube. And one person pointed out that I believe it's episode 6 or something like that. It's revealed that Scooby is an acronym for Special Covert Cranium something. It's stupid. It's just stupid. All right. Jinkies is a drug. It's just all of it's dumb. Change the names, change the overall design of the characters, and put it in the same universe, and everyone will be perfectly fine. It's the fact that you're taking these titular characters and just butchering them is the problem. The type of show that is designed to make you mad from what I've been seeing. Yeah, essentially. A lot of shows have been doing that lately. A lot of shows have been doing, a lot of shows and games have been doing this thing where if we make a show where people hate, we're going to get those people who actually like it, and also the people who hate it because they want to see how much they hate it. Thus giving us the view and thus giving us the money. Which is actually brilliant business practices, to tell you the truth. But it just gets kind of like tired after a while. It can only work for so long. And I would prefer if you just make something that people can just enjoy. As for another thing they seem to be doing, they just seem to make insufferable characters for some reason. It like a character needs to be insufferable because apparently that's good, even though they're not given an arc to become not insufferable. I watched Moist Critical's review of Forspoken, a game that I was planning on getting, but then decided against it when I saw the gameplay wasn't anything I was enjoying. And then, yeah, they basically just made the main character just kind of insufferable, with no arc to be better until the very last 5 minutes of the game. So it's like, why do you do that? Like, why do you think people want to see that? Cusco from Emperor's New Groove is the perfect example of an insufferable character done right. He is a terrible person, a horrible, horrible character, but he later grows throughout the course of the adventure to be a better person, but still having his core personality pretty much on lock. And he's better for it. And it's great. You can't just pull that off all the time. You can't have a cartoon dog, it'll be a kid show. Warner Brothers Family Guy. It just makes no sense. Like, anybody saying that is definitely lying. They're definitely lying or misinterpreting or just not understanding the true reason as to why. Because I don't believe that for a solitary second. That you're living on this planet and believe that a talking dog can't make a serious show serious. That's dumb. Dude, you can make a show where nothing but a bunch of talking ponies be serious. It's not hard. Yeah, that's just it. And it has to be, he has to learn it along the way. He has to show a development cycle throughout the course of the adventure. You can't just have him heel turn at the very tail end of the adventure and expect us to like him. That's not how that works. Luc Bonfavre from Tales of the Abyss is another good example of a very insufferable dickbag who later becomes a better character, and that better character is then likable throughout the rest of the course of the campaign. Like, that sort of stuff is very important to get right. The only likable character in the entirety of the Velma show seems to be Norval, because he just is a guy, and the only thing that you can care about is the fact that he's just being walked over by everybody else. And it's like, and at that point, I just can't watch it, because it's like, okay, this is what happens to the one nice person on your planet? Okay, great. Yeah, and Dan. Oh, Dan is a flawless example of a lovable jerk. You literally see in the beginning of season 3 that he's planning on nuking the planet because of a family of squirrels, and for some reason you just have to say, man, that's Dan. But it's just he's an enjoyable asshole, and he's great. So it's not impossible to make a jerk character or an insufferable character, and have the rest of the thing suffer for it. It's the fact it also takes nuance. Dan is balanced out by the people he has to go and take revenge on, because they're kind of like a weird dichotomy of, well, Dan's mad, but the person who messed with Dan probably shouldn't have done it. So you're kind of on the same wavelength of Dan should be able to do something about it. He's just trying to do something about it. But you have Chris and his wife that also balances Dan's craziness with humble nature and trying to be the straight man in the argumentation of what Dan is doing. So that's it. Like, you gotta have a thing. But Velma is like, okay, Velma's awful, Daphne's awful, Fred is awful, everyone who is Daphne's friends is awful, Velma's family is awful, the killer is awful, everyone's awful, the mom is probably awful, Norval is the only good person. Essentially. What about Sunset? She was bad in one movie and good in the next. That's just it. That's why I don't like the first movie. I've gone on record multiple times that the first movie is not it's not off the snuff for me. I don't really like the first movie all that much. The first Aggressor Girls movie is a good little flick to have, but after really putting it under scrutiny, it's not a very good movie. Sunset is a very one note dimensional character that just goes into it gets the you're now our friend now treatment that the show pretty much did. But then you get the second movie, and it's the best shit ever. You have the villains be just who they are, and it's great. And Sunset's entire thing is trying to get into a position where that past first movie is no longer who she is now. And that's why I like the second movie so much, because it kind of fixes the problems with the first movie in of itself. So yeah, I agree. Sunset is a very bad character in the first movie. It's when you get to the second movie and then the rest of the series onward that she becomes the best character. Jerks can be great, but you know how to write them. That's why I love listen. I love Boss. He's a jerk. He's sexual workers, but no problem. Yeah, that's just it. It's kind of like the same thing with Tatsumaki. People don't like Tatsumaki because she's kind of a jerk, but like that's just it. If you have a jerk, but you know where they're coming from, they're a lot more relatable. They're a lot more relatable character and a lot more relatable of a jerk. So you can see where they're coming from and kind of understand what they're going through, while also being like, okay, no, I get it, and you can just understand. The more you understand the jerk character, the less insufferable they are. I don't understand Velma. I don't understand Fred, considering the fact that he's just a giant man baby, that sort of stuff. And there you go. That's the general sentence that all people making a jerk character needs to understand. Just don't make them more than just an asshole. Just have it be a trait, not the only feature. It's like, what happens if you just take the snarkiness of Tony Stark with none of the actual charm, intellect, and overall general deep down resentment for himself and wanting to be better for others in the Marvel movies? He get Captain Marvel. The show, the character, or the clown? Goes back to drawing. Fucking smartasses. uh, the show is good. I don't really like season 3 all that much up until the last half of season 3, but I do like the show as overall. I think it's a solid 8 to a 7. That's where I currently stand it is right now. It used to be a 9 in the first 2 seasons. I'm going to let you know on that. I like what they did with the characters. Certain characters are kind of like iffy of how they executed them somehow, and other things. The character itself is just fantastic. I mean, I grew up with her for frick's sake with the standard Batman animated show. And the clown freaks me out. So, yeah, there you go. Like, to be perfectly honest, I knew for a fact that when Harley Quinn, the show, was starting to come out, they were going to have it so that Harley and Ivy were going to be a thing because that's always been the thing with those two characters. So I was trying to see how they're going to execute that. And the fact that they executed it in cucking an actual really good character, it was kind of iffy on me. It was kind of like, yeah, it's a crude adult humor show, so I can see where they're coming from with that. And the fact that they actually gave Kite Man some closure and even a better life afterwards. It shows that they actually respected him as a character instead of just doing it just because they hated, quote unquote, hate men or something like that. It's not like that. I like the fact that they didn't just do that. It's like, oh, white man bad. Get with other girl. Girls are good. Lesbians are great. No, they didn't do that. They actually made a proper system in place where someone was hurt, but he's better off in the long run because he found himself a better life, and they forgive each other for for what they did, and they're okay with each other, and they're still good friends. That's why that was the one thing in season 3 that I actually did like. But when season 3 was starting, and I saw that it's just Harley Quinn going a little too overboard with the development of the fact that Harley and Ivy were a couple was kind of just degrading. It's just like, okay, so she's gonna be annoying. She's gonna try to do her thing. She's gonna try to encourage, and the encouragement is gonna go too far, and then shit's gonna go south because apparently no one can write a good proper relationship anymore. Except when you get to the Joker, for fuck's sake. The Joker being the best dad, period, is the best thing about season 3. All right. And until you get to the end, where you get to the psychology of Bruce and Harley being a fucking psychiatrist, it's great. It was fantastic. That's why I like the tail end of season 3. Yeah, I don't like how Batman was treated in season 3. And so the fact that they made Batman and made him kind of like, a person who's trying a little too hard in season 2 and just kind of just continue on with that, I like that. But then he just kind of like, he just made him into a simp. It's like, why? Why though? Like, so it's when I don't understand certain decisions, when they made better decisions in the long run of the previous ones, is where I started to not like the series. I still think the series is good overall. I just think season 3 is the weakest season. But overall, I think Harley Quinn is. Velma wishes it could be Harley Quinn. And that's what it's trying to do, and it's failing miserably. Because it actually doesn't understand what Harley Quinn actually did to be that good. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it's like. I'm so happy how they treated Joker. Like, they treated Joker pretty freaking good. Every time Nintendo makes a new Smash Bros, I'm just gonna go for Scorpion. That's just it. Can't wait until we see what comes after Ultimate, if there's a thing that comes after Ultimate. But since it's a franchise that pretty much is just going to be like Metal Gear, it's not really going to go anywhere. It's just going to be different. Might be being an obsession to tactical RPGs. Play 5 so far. That's good. And having a new passion for a new thing, it's never a bad thing. Hopefully you enjoy them. Lots of three houses. engage. Everyone's a Blue Lions fan. Everyone's a Blue Lions fan. Ooh. Yeah, you're a Golden Deer fan. You'd be one of the first I've ever found. Black Eagles are evil. Well, you're evil. You ever thought about that? My impressions of Engage is that I didn't start having fun until I got Three Houses banned. All jokes aside, I think it's an okay game. Like, it's just more Fire Emblem. I do think the voice main character is definitely a voice main character. The deer is the only group without an evil leader. The only thing about the leader is that he is not important. That's the whole deal with thing. Black Eagles is great for me because it actually breaks the mold, and I actually kind of feel where the characters are coming from during the course of the adventure. Lions one is like discount Guts over there definitely needs some help, and I did appreciate helping him out through those trying times and struggles. Claude is just there, and that's why it's my least favorite. If I had to be honest, I think they handled Edelgard's overall dynamic and story in the Dynasty Warriors clone in Three Hopes. Yeah, that's just it. That's the whole thing about what I didn't like about certain people's reviews of the Black Eagle story, constantly or just Edelgard in general, saying that she's evil. It's like, did you play the game? Did you play the game? Black Eagles is my favorite story, and Edelgard is my favorite character. I have been doing the defense with her for a while now with multiple people on the internet. It's like I'm not taking anything away from any other character aside from Claude throughout the course of the adventure. But to say that Edelgard is just evil and she is irredeemable is actually it just gets on my nerves. It's like they didn't even play the game or listen to her. I'm not calling her a saint. Well, I'm not calling her, but Jesus Christ, she's not evil. Yeah, that's just it. They just anytime someone just complains about Edelgard, they talk as if they didn't even play her side, or just play in general. Gee, it'll do tonight. Try to go over Almond. Probably. Because that's the whole thing about the routes. Depending on who you pick, it's drastically how they change as people, really. Is not really like a commentary of, okay, if you're here, then they're still going to make the same decisions as they were if you weren't there, and so on and so forth. It's more like no. You're kind of like the driving force of these people and their decisions of what they can become in the future. Well, that route shows a good side of Edelgard as a character. Shit, what Dimitri was basically. It's like again, it oh man, Three Houses is great. I don't think Engage comes to the same level currently where I am right now in forms of engagement, because a lot of things just kind of seem iffy, like straightforward. You know what I mean? Wow, Three Houses is very like more complex than most other stories that I was introduced to during the course of my Fire Emblem binges. But I'm only on chapter like 10 or something, so I still have some time to judge. Yeah, basically. Yeah. She dies if she took this. Oh, she becomes a sniper. Basically, you are a driving force for a lot of these people. So to say that these are their core personalities when you see them on a certain route is very disingenuous, because they were just people who really need help, and you are there. And if you're not there to help them, then shit happens. Because last time I checked, Dimitri doesn't know what the heck to do about his revenge filled hatred that he feels towards himself and others. And it isn't until you give him a good talking to where he starts to come around as the character that he is by the end of his story. Like, you are very much important to these people's lives. Classic. One feels underwhelming on storytelling for friends because it's in most games there are some unique dialogue to some units is died, but Engage doesn't have that. What? It doesn't? I've never been much of a classic guy because, I suck at these kind of games and people just die around me, so I'm happy that the classic mode is an optional thing. But the one thing I did find interesting was that if they're dead, people say different shit. But they don't do that in Engage? Why? Huh. And that's like the whole, and that's what I appreciate. And Nathan, that's what I appreciate about Three Houses is that the main character, despite being a silent protagonist, is very important to these people's lives, which is the whole thing about a main character like this. Especially when you're supposed to be a teacher, you teach them. You're supposed to drive them forward in certain ways. So I'm happy they actually managed to pull that off. Also, can I say, I don't know the full gist of it, and this isn't really much of a spoiler. It's just kind of like Like a really? Come on. But in Fire Emblem Three Houses, you could reverse time and do that whole restart your turn shit. Thanks to Sophis, who makes sense because her whole dynamic is being the time goddess and shit like that, or something along those lines of what she's all about. But in Engage, it's just a fucking pendant you just happen to find eventually, and now you can rewrite reality. Like, what? Again, I don't know the full context of where that came from, who's it for, but the fact that you go from actually making sense as to why you can reverse causality to it's just a pendant we found on the ground that apparently has the ability to rewrite causality. I was like, okay. Could do a little bit better for that, but alright. Yeah, I try to kill once each further, and there's no unique dialogue. Everyone, he died. He's just gone. Wow, wow, wow. Shipping to the exception. I never care for it's mostly because it's primarily because the teacher ex student dynamic, quote unquote. Yeah, weird on the surface. It doesn't really feel like that. It's more like you're a mentor than an actual teacher student dynamic thing. I know mentor is basically almost exactly the same, but when I put it that way, it's more just along the lines of you're just helping them out. You're just there to you're there for them and not like using your superior power to take advantage of them. You know what I mean? Considering that the only way to really romance any of them is to first get to the time skip, which makes them a lot older, which makes it a little bit better, along with the fact that the war needs to be done. So so again, there's some weird Fire Emblem isms. At least it's not as bad as Fire Emblem. I think it's Fates with Conquest and stuff like that, where you can just go out with your sisters, which is definitely weird, which is just straight up weird. And I did hear that Engage has made it so that it's basically not possible to go out with siblings or something like that is considered a sibling or something like that. They're trying to crack down on the Japaneseisms, you know what I mean? Which is admirable, to say the least. Alter the fabric of space and time, just sitting in the ground, and yet no one else seemed to be interested in taking it but me. I know, right? Jack, don't do this. Trust me, you don't want to do this. You don't want to do it. Huh. It's like, dude, don't. Don't. I'm trying to save you from a conversation that I've been trying to avoid with a lot of people for the past several years. Uh, that's just it, man. That's just it, man. At this point, you kind of just have to look it up for yourself if you're interested. Yeah, essentially, I would like to get off this train too before it crashes. Look, I see where you're coming from, Jack. Just understand, this is not the mentality that I was into when I made that comment. I don't think you need to play for. Just look up the stuff behind it. Nothing. Nothing. The MC's hair is the only thing that bothers me. Like, okay, like, either make it all red or make it all blue. I don't like the fact that it's all red, and considering from the cutscenes I've seen, it's actually an in-lore reason as to why he has that hair, and apparently it does something to him. I don't know. I haven't gotten out that far into the game. It's just every conversation. I'm just like, why? Yeah, that's up to you, man. All right. Yeah. When I found her in the game, I'm like, oh, there you are. I was expected to see you here. So shockingly, they made you a child. So, okay. Yeah. But I think this well has run dry this week, so you could probably end things off and pick things back up next week. And if I was in charge of Organization 13, how would I run it? Well, first of all, I wouldn't. There you go. I'm gonna get back into finishing up this stuff. I got a character I really need to draw before a certain thing occurs. But yeah, okay. Yeah, I think it's about time we end things off. I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you guys next week, and this time, hopefully, if the blaze, hopefully, I realize what day it is, so I can actually do it at 12. That time. All right. Okay. Yeah. One of these days I'll do a stream where I'm just drawing. Right now, I'm too afraid if I click a wrong button, y'all gonna see something that YouTube does not want to see. So we'll do that later. All right. Goodbye.